That's a winning.
It's the Blue Review. The Blue Review with Greg and
With
friends.
Bergman and the team.
Yeah, Bergman and team. I already messed it up.
You did.
I'm and the rest. I want to be and the rest.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Review. We got a special edition because we are back, aka the Dodgers are back. Tokyo series kicked off. They got the W against the Cubs, so we are going to react to everything that we saw out in the Tokyo Dome, no matter where you're watching, whether it was on your bed, on your couch, at Cosm. Lots of reactions, lots of stuff to get into. But before we get into anything, Greg, please introduce, of course, I'm Parker Bell. And this is Greg Bergman here. Please introduce our dear friend who we have joining us today.
Well, obviously, right below us, you've seen him everywhere now. He talks to all the Dodgers. He actually had a sit down with Dave Roberts just a couple of weeks ago. This is Clint Pasillas, or the real FRG, who is a host with Alana Rizzo on Dodgers territory. And he has his own podcast of All Dodgers Pod, LA. I'm close on that.
There
Is
it
that
is.
right?
There it is.
That's it. What's going on, boys? We're feeling good. Baseball is back for 2 days, and then it's not back, and then it's back again. But Dodgers, they're the only team that is 1-0 right now.
Yeah, which is nice. And by the way, you absolutely said it right there. It feels so good to talk about a game that counts, and we can talk about a game that counts tomorrow, and then we can't talk about games that count for 2 weeks.
For a week, yeah.
A week, yeah.
A week, yeah.
Well, we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yamamoto looking good. Shohei back home, showing out. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Dodger baseball we could dive into here, gentlemen.
All right, so let's do it. Let's start right here, Parker, and we're going to start with you because I want to know how everybody watched this game. I absolutely did wake up, so we'll get into that in a minute. But Parker, where were you? How did you watch the game?
Yeah, I, like the crazy degenerate I am, woke up, of course, at 2:30 to watch Dodger baseball. And I know that all of you watching this Blue Review were probably a degenerate like myself. But I took it a step above, and me and producer Laura, who you may know or may not know from this station, went over to our friends at Cosm, Inglewood, Los Angeles, the immersive shared reality. You got to see a baseball game, basically like you're there at the Tokyo Dome. It was a great experience, Greg and Clint, and honestly, would do it again. I think baseball might be the best sport to watch at a sphere location like that, which, could be a little controversial. A lot of people like the MMA, basketball. They do a lot of sports there.
MMA is supposed to be really cool, but I saw the Cosm last year during the World Series in the playoffs. They did a lot of from there as well, and it looked super cool. Did you go last year, Clint?
Yeah,
No, I haven't made it out to one of those. I did get an invite to cover the game at Cosm last night as media in some way. I don't know what that looks like. I'm assuming, Parker, you had a credential for it. If not, you did it the smart way as a fan. But like we were talking about just before going on live here, I can't see myself getting up at 2 a.m. to drive out to Inglewood and hope for the best, or even earlier, because fans looked like they really, really showed up there. Either way, I mean, the experience does look awesome. I would love to do that one of these days. It's just, please don't make it 3 a.m.
Yeah, right. So you're not going tomorrow, is what you're saying?
I am not going tomorrow.
So how did you watch the game, and what did you do afterwards? Because obviously, I assume you talked to Alana Rizzo a little bit.
Yeah. So I got up. I watched Yamamoto's first half, his first inning, on my side in bed because I wasn't ready to get up, despite Alexa telling me to wake up now. It's time to get up. Hey, I told you. You said set an alarm for 3 a.m. So I watched a little bit there, and then I came into the dungeon here, which is something I don't call my office. Came into the office, the studio here, and above you guys, I have a TV where I had the game on. And I'm doing all the stats, numbers, tweeting, talking to people on Discord about what we're watching on the game, going through the first few innings of, oh my God, they're going to be the worst team in baseball. What is going on? Our pets' heads are falling off. And then, the fifth inning happens again. Something good about the Dodgers in the fifth inning. But then afterwards, me, Alana, Dodgers territory, live post game, where it's a nice 6 a.m. for her as opposed to 3 a.m. start for me.
Oh yeah, because she's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into everything that happened with the game, but for the most part, I did wake up also at 3 o'clock. I put the phone on. I was watching on my phone. I kept my head down, and I was trying to sleep through it and just listen to Joe Davis. And I was like, I just can't do it this way. I have to actually watch. So I watched the entire game, stayed up, and now I have a lot of coffee in me, and that's the way we're gonna go. Before we get into anything else, Parker, as everybody that's on the Blue Review on the YouTube chat know that we just did a remote over at CHLA Children's Hospital LA yesterday, and one of the things that was bid upon was be a co-host to the Blue Review. We have a winner to the co-host to the Blue Review. I don't know if they're in the chat, but if they are, would love for them to be just say like, hey, welcome, Richard Jacobs. Richard Jacobs is going to be joining the Blue Review as we don't know when yet, but we're going to make it all work out. We'll bring Richard on. We'll talk a little Dodger baseball. He'll be on for the entire time. So very cool for that to happen. To donate to Children's Hospital LA, which is a very, very good cause. And by the way, shout out to all the listeners, all the fans, because we are now currently over $30,000
That's awesome.
donated through to CHLA through this partnership. So it's absolutely, absolutely amazing. All right, let's get into the game itself. Parker, you want to take us away? Where do you want to start?
Let's do it. Well, let's just go straight off with Clint. You had already mentioned you woke up to watch that first half, kind of Yamamoto's. So we see essentially a very some familiar scene with Yamamoto, kind of a shaky start, you can call it. Maybe he's like getting the rust off, and then he immediately finds his fold, and everything just looks electric. So what did you see, Clint, just based off of that performance? I know he went, I think it was five. I have it right here. Yeah, 5 of 72
Yeah.
pitches, 48 strikes, and then that strikeout rate looked pretty good. 32, I think, were called for strikes and swinging. So great performance, honestly, from the Japanese national hero there.
The phenom. Yeah,
Yes.
the difference a year makes for his debut outing. Just dominant stuff. Yeah, early on we know he's struggled in his MLB career with that first inning, and it looked like maybe some damage could happen. Avoids the damage there. Avoids major damage in the first. Ends up going 5 innings. Gives up the run, 4 Ks, a walk in there. Really, he looked pretty dominant to me at points in time, touching 98 with the fastball early, had the splitty working good, mixed in some curveballs when he needed to. Just a good, efficient outing, as where his counterpart on the Cubs, Shota Imanaga, walked some dudes, didn't seem to be as crisp, still very good, still didn't allow a hit to the Dodgers. Of course, they don't get their first hit until after he's pulled after 4 innings. But when we're talking about Yamasan, to just exactly what this team needed, getting through 5, earning that win. It was could not have asked for anything better.
Yeah, I thought Yamamoto looked absolutely dominant for the most part. I mean, he did have only had one walk, but he really only had one hard hit ball. Amaya from the Cubs hit one hard hit ball for the double that scored the run. Besides that, the splitter was working so incredibly well, was throwing it over and over and over again, and nobody on that Cubs team was able to really pick up on it. It was as much of a dominant outing from a starter in a game that I've seen for an opening day game in quite some time for the Dodgers. Maybe I can go back to what I don't remember. I forget the year, 2013, 2012, somewhere around there. But when
Kershaw
went up against the Giants, he got the one hit. It was a home run off of Baumgartner to win that game 1-0. That was probably the most dominant that I can remember offhand. So Yamamoto, to me, we said it yesterday, Parker, that I think he is going to be the ace of the staff, and he showed today that he can be that ace of the staff.
Yeah, he's certainly helping our early early season prediction there with him being the number one. Now, I think what I saw and what stood out the most was just that the mentality. I think, we mentioned just not too long ago the early first inning struggles earlier in his career. I want to say what I saw today wasn't necessarily a stuff issue. I think it was more of just there's a lot of pressure. I'm at home. This is in front of my home crowd fans. And he said that post game that there was a lot of pressure. Both he and Shohei said that.
Nerves appeared visible early in those early innings. It looks like Yama was kind of nibbling a little bit, and then he attacked, and that's where we saw him kind of settle into what I think agree with you guys as well. And I've been saying on my shows, I guess, that there's so much talent on this team. There's so much talent around baseball. But I'm making him my Cy Young pick for the year just because I think he's annoyed at missing time last year, but we've seen him when he's right. He is an ace. He is dominant. He proves why this team gave him $325 million last offseason. He is very, very good at throwing a baseball.
Yeah,
So
totally
just
agree with you.
gonna write that down there. March 18th, Cy Young pick.
Hey,
Thank
you.
We are very much in lockstep, Clint, because I said the exact same yesterday. I understand that Blake Snell is a guy that has two, and probably he wants to be the workhorse. If this pitching staff is not going to pitch more than 160 innings, anybody on that staff, I think he's going to have the best numbers out of all of it because just what he's shown in big moments over and over and over again. So I love what I saw out of that. I saw what I saw, and I just hope he just sticks with it. Now I'm excited to see what Sasaki does tomorrow because his stuff is ridiculous.
Yes, I think we need to definitely preview towards the end here of what we'll see out of Sasaki. But outside of Yamamoto, the other, of course, you can't even at this point call him the Japanese star. He is the worldwide star, the global superstar in Shohei Ohtani. Really the engine that drove the offense today. I know he didn't have any RBIs, but each time that he made something happen, the Dodgers followed suit and brought him in. Greg, what did you see just out of really the beginning of the game and then that fifth inning when he kind of really got things going?
The beginning of the game, I felt like he was trying to impress the home crowd again with another home run. He was swinging out of his heels. He was just trying to knock something out of the park. And then later on, he was like, okay, fine. I'll try and slow it down a bit. Actually, just get on base. I mean, he had two hits, but he also had a 107-mile one off the bat that went to the second baseman right at him. But it was smoked. Absolutely smoked. So this guy is going to be something incredible all over again. I don't know. We talked about it yesterday also. I don't know about you, Clint. Like, I don't need him to go 50-50. I don't need him to be the Cy Young. I don't need him to do a lot of things. Thumbs up, Parker. I just need him to be good, to be who he is. And, everybody else to follow suit behind him, because if everybody else behind him follows suit, then this team is going to they're going to walk into 110 wins.
Yeah, he's a special character out there, and like Parker had mentioned, he was experiencing some of the nerves early. He had said he'd never been on that side, the visitors' dugout at the Tokyo Dome, but he is right now with Mookie out, and we haven't talked about Freddie being scratched as well. He is going to be the straw that stirs the Dodgers Kool-Aid in these first two games. Gets it going. Andy Pages, let's shout out Andy Pages, taking a couple of walks, earning a couple of walks in that 9-hole to bring Shohei back up. But Shohei breaks the no-hitter in the fifth. Later on in the ninth, gets smashes a double down the right field line to eventually score another run. But 2 for 5, 2 runs scored in a 4-1 win. Shohei did exactly what he needed to do. And, I mean, sure, he didn't hit a homer. Still delighted the fans there at Tokyo Dome. And when, again, if you're missing Mookie and you're missing a Freddie Freeman in that lineup, I guess we could all of a sudden feel pretty good about the Shohei Tommy Tanks 1-2 punch there.
I love me some Tommy Tanks, but you hit 3 things in there that we didn't get into. Obviously, Mookie losing 15 pounds, and when he was already like $170, that's a lot of weight to lose at the same time. Freddie says that he's about 75% to play tomorrow, so he does want to play. If he's pain free when he wakes up tomorrow, when he gets up, he wants to play. You're shaking your head no.
Please don't. Just don't.
I agree.
He always wants to play.
He always wants to play. I agree. Don't play. It's not necessary. Just be healthy for the real start of the season, I guess you could say. That's more important to me. And the other thing that I thought was super important that you brought in there was Andy Pages. Andy Pages taking walks in that 9 spot is absolutely huge. He was a big time free swinger. that, especially last year, that would get him into trouble. Yeah, he would run into a couple of home runs, and he has the power to do it. But if he's sitting down there and he's taking more and more pitches, more and more walks, and that turns lineups over, that just makes this lineup so much better. Like, he has the power. So if he just waits for that spot within the zone, like learns from Max Muncy, that he could actually take a giant leap this year.
Yeah.
No, that's a huge point. And it's not just Pajes, Clint. It's also, I mean, newcomers like Conforto, who were, of course, he's going to be a regular. I think we can all agree that he'll be obviously a regular in this lineup, but he had to get thrown in there because of the Freddie late scratch. And you see him up there with comfortable at bats. He got that hit in there. So it's just another season you feel like where these Dodgers are going to have a comfortable time at the plate. The approaches are looking great. Clint, I don't know, you can maybe give your opinion here, but after that initial nerves, I think we're calling it here in this episode, they just looked like no matter who you throw out there, this is going to be a 100-win team.
Yeah, I love the way this team is able to take advantage of what's given to them. Teoscar Hernandez, he's running hard out of the box, avoids a double play on. Hey guys, surprising breaking news: former Yankee plays some sloppy defense in the 5th inning to get help get the Dodgers their go ahead run off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez. Will Smith with an RBI single, 3 walks, by the way, for Smitty back in the 4 hole today. Couple offers mixed in there, but everybody doing a little bit of something to keep the lineup moving. And Shota Imanaga, got to give credit to Shota. He was very, very good. Also probably battling nerves in his own right, but the Dodgers found a way to work him, to get him out after 4 innings, which is probably always going to be the plan for the Cubs there and Craig Counsell. Former highest paid manager Craig Counsell, and Dodgers just keep on attacking, finding ways to wait for their pitch, which is one of the things they love to do and they love to preach. Wait for your pitch and capitalize.
And there's nobody better than Max Muncy at that, right? Like I think he saw over 30 pitches in his 5 at bats. So he was consistently, I think every single at bat he had a 3-2 count, and he walked a couple times because of that. Now he needs to. Yeah, 2 walks. Yeah, he's gonna have to get a couple of hits, and that's gonna come down. But that dude's skinny now. What was that all about? Did you notice how thin Max Muncy was? That was a lot of weight off that big boy.
Yeah, we talked to him when we were out at Camelback Ranch last week. I'm not going to divulge the full conversation, but he is down 17 pounds with some, we'll say, some life choices, some life decisions, changes, trying to get himself ready to play a full season of baseball again. He looks good. He looks strong. He's moving well. I had kind of asked him, I don't know if ask him is the right word, but I just mentioned to him, is like, is that going to help you on the defensive side? And he quickly defended his defense to me. He's like, if you look at the metrics, I'm one of the best, range third baseman, and whatever he had said, I was like, all right, listen, I wasn't calling you a bad 3B. I was just asking if it's going to make you a little bit more on the mobile side, but he's ready. He's hungry despite being down 17 pounds. He's hungry to be not be kind of forgotten in what this lineup, especially at the top of the lineup, has to offer right now. So, it might take him a little bit of time to kind of get used to that new body to him. He's played at a heavier weight for the last few years, but this is for longevity. One of the things he had really kind of expressed to us that he wants to be here. He wants to be here for as long as he can, whatever role it would be with the Dodgers. He wants to be in the mix, and this will definitely help him stay on the field, stay a little bit healthier. And what I asked him as well was, hey, is this going to be finally that 40 homer year? And he's like, God, I'm hoping. So he's ready. He is ready despite an 0 for 3, like you said, though, earning those walks, doing what he needs to do to keep the lineup moving.
Yeah, the Dodgers just absolutely wear you down, and that was the theme all last year. But on that point, about Max, it's just great to hear that not only is the team, but all the individuals are just so bought in to really go back to back. They got that, they have that goal and the destination, and they're doing everything they can to get there. So that is very reassuring to hear from a fan standpoint. And I'm sure everyone in the chat was just glowing to hear that, you have guys doing things all the way from making life choices just to get better. And it relieves pressure off of those top 3 guys, those Freddies, Mookies, and Shoheis, who of course have so much pressure on them to just carry a team like they did last year. But Greg, really, and actually, I'll throw this to you first, Clint. What did you see outside of like what was the biggest highlight outside of some of these superstars that you saw? For myself, it would be the bullpen and just how dominant they looked.
Yeah.
And of course, new Dodger Tanner Scott gets his first save as an LA Dodger. We love to see it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to throw out there. If you're looking for like players of the game, I think we've already run through it. Yamamoto is good. The offense good, but that bullpen, the dogs are back. The rebuilt dogs, dogs 2.0, whatever you want to call them. Bonda with the scoreless inning adds a K. Ben Kasparius touching 98, 99 with the fastball as well adds a K in a scoreless seventh inning. Blake Trinan works around a hit by pitch, 2 Ks in there, and then Tanner Scott earning that first save as a Dodger. Shout out Dave Roberts once again, pulling the right levers, having the right guys go out there. I mean, it's hard to find the wrong guy when you're talking about the Dodger bullpen, and it's still, this is a bullpen that's missing Michael Kopech right now, Evan Phillips, and a few other names. Bruce Dark-Rat are all going to be without him for a majority of the first half of the season, but they're still very, very stacked despite all of the injuries. So they're in a good spot when you're looking at that Dodgers bullpen for sure.
Yeah, that bullpen is going to be absolutely amazing. I really, it's one of those weird years where everybody came back for the most part. You lost a few pieces, but for the most part, your whole core came back, and all you did was just add bigger pieces in the bullpen along with it. And when you're talking about Kirby Yates and Tanner Scott, so they're just just those random little guys that they threw in there for no reason. But it's amazing what they did over this offseason. So just to get better that way, for me, what I like to see was, I'm not sure how I feel about Michael Conforto yet. I don't know if I know the Dodger pitching staff and the Dodger staff says that he's going to be really, really good, maybe the same way as Teoscar. I don't know about that. I don't see that yet. I want to see a little bit more. It's a high bar to get to. But I like seeing him hit a double. I like to see that he got a hit. The thing I want to ask you, Clint and Parker, is if you could choose one thing. I know this is a very positive. They won the first game. They're 1-0. What should we be looking at over the rest of the season? Where are the deficiencies? If you're going to watch something, what do you think that is?
For me, it's got to be that middle chunk of the lineup. We just praised Muncy a good bit, but you look at Muncy and Will Smith in particular, did not have phenomenal postseasons, did not have phenomenal statistic seasons in 2024, even though like the OPS was electric for Max Muncy. You'd like to see him make a little bit more contact with the baseball. That's not necessarily his game, but I'm just saying you would like to see it. I'll still take an 8 that he had. Very, very good baseballer. Same with Will Smith, or baseball player. Same with Will Smith, where he's now 3 years trending downward on offense, and we keep hearing, last year it was a ribs issue. Now there's an ankle issue. So I worry about, along with Conforto, that kind of middle third of the lineup, if they're able to sort of perform up to or a little beyond the career norms. Because if they can hit and they can do what they're supposed to do in their roles, hitting 5, 6, 7, or wherever they're at, then this is going to be a very, very dangerous team. But yeah, somebody like Conforto, to piggyback off of what you're saying, Greg, he's somebody you need to kind of circle as, is he going to be a problem? Is Andy Pages going to be a problem in the long run? And are the Dodgers going to need to be active at the trade deadline for an outfielder down the road? We're hoping not, but that's still something. Hey, let's watch this for at least a little while to see how it plays out.
Love it.
Yeah,
Parker, what do you think?
I think mine kind of goes hand in hand there with just really the outfield depth and just seeing someone like Andy Pages take that next step, being that he's not the ideal fit for center when it comes to defensively, seeing him take that next step defensively. And of course, against right-handed, pitchers, you want to see him kind of get a little better at bats there. But overall, and I know we're coming up short here, I think just availability is the best ability. So we're already seeing a little knicky-knack stuff. You hope Mookie gets well soon. In the whole rib situation with Freddie, it's not a great start realistically. If you want to, and I don't want to end on a bummer here, but you hope to see that that's not really a continuing thing, and you wish that they get well soon. But Clint, I want to roll out the red carpet for you here. You have a lot going on, so please let us know where we can find everything. Let us know where we can find your work, and foul territory, all of that.
Yeah, I need to have some fewer things going on right now. Thankfully, we're calming down. Once we get past opening day and this mini series, we should be able to get back to normal and get back on a reasonable rest schedule. But do have multiple shows here on YouTube, here on the internet. Of course, my All Dodgers podcast with Clint Pasillas. That is me. I am usually live on Mondays and Thursdays. We got content going there, and then also Mondays, Thursdays every week, and some post games this season. Myself, Alana Rizzo, live, Dodgers Territory. Subscribe to both. Dodgers Territory is part of the Foul Territory Network. So with Scott Braun and AJ Przinsky, Eric Kratz, all the boys doing some great stuff out at spring training and just great stuff overall for baseball content. Love working with that team. But yeah, I stay busy, and you guys see there wherever it is, find me on all the socials at Real FRG, and that's where I usually tell people, hey, going live, come join the chat, and we'll have a good time talking Dodger baseball, or sometimes a bad time talking Dodger baseball.
And Greg, while we have a sec, the chat was actually wondering, Clint, what was the Real FRG? What does it stand for?
Greg, I think I've told you before. Do you remember?
Yes, I absolutely do. Do you want me to tell you? It's
it's
the real fat Ryan Gosling.
Was not an original. I did not deem myself or dub myself that. I just ran with it. But an old podcast co-host who Bergman also knows. He called me that in our super old show back in the day, and that was my character. And I just let it. Yeah, you let it eat.
That is amazing.
You got to just play right into it. It's the right way to do it. Well done,
sir.
And by the way, Parker, you're a jerk for doing that. Was a jerk move. It was a jerk move. What you're doing is a jerk move. And that's the end of Blue Review. Hey, congratulations to Richard Jacobs for being able to join the Blue Review and winning the auction to CHLA. Travis and DeMarco coming up next. Stay right here. They're going to be getting into all things Dodgers coming up as well. So, hey, thank you, FRG. Thank you, Clint Pasillas. Thank you, Parker. We'll be back tomorrow.
Bye.
Boom. There we go. And thank you, LAX. Where is it? There it is. See you guys.